Support in South Florida for President Trump.
This would be historically groundbreaking moves for a misdemeanor.
As he claims he's about to be arrested. Spring break curfew on South Beach after a second shooting. Shark strike in Fort Pierce.
One that bit me, took a chomp out of my foot.
And the survivor is speaking out. Plus, the United States versus Cuba, with the winner going to the finals of the World Baseball Classic. These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. I'm Kenneth Bueno.
I'm Samantha Gutierrez. Today is Monday, March 20th, 2023.
The FIU Lee Kaplan School of Journalism and Media. This is SFMN Newsbreak.
Supporters in front of Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach rushed to former President Trump's defense in light of his potential arrest tomorrow. The former president said in a Truth Social post that he expects to be arrested this week.
CNN's Gloria Pasmino is in New York with the latest.
And we're standing near the criminal court here in Manhattan, where former President Donald Trump could be one of hundreds of people that is processed through the criminal justice system here every day. If there is an arrest, of course, this would be no ordinary indictment. The potential arrest of a former U.S. president is creating massive logistical and safety challenges for local authorities, who are also anticipating the possibility of unrest.
In a Truth Social post on Saturday, former President Donald Trump said he expects to be arrested on Tuesday.
I think it's not speculation. It's something that we're hearing. He needs to get ahead of it.
While there's no official word yet from the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, grand jury proceedings are nearing the end, with the last-minute witness set to testify Monday at the request of Trump's legal team, according to a source familiar with the investigation.
This would be historically groundbreaking moves for a misdemeanor to try and bring it up to a charge where you're arraigning a former president.
Trump is being investigated for his role in an alleged hush money scheme involving payments made in 2016 by his then attorney Michael Cohen to adult film actress Stormy Daniels. An indictment would be a historic first and could make Trump an even more divisive figure on the campaign trail.
It does drastically change the paradigm as we go into the 24 election.
Echoing his calls for action after the 2020 election, Trump told his social media followers to, quote, protest and take our nation back.
If was this to happen, we want calmness out there.
Federal, state, and local authorities now preparing for the possibility of unrest.
We're always monitoring the situation here as best we can, and we obviously don't want to see any activity grow violent.
Law enforcement sources tell us they are also monitoring social media for any possible threats. Meanwhile, District Attorney Alvin Bragg is sending a memo to his staff yesterday, reassuring them that their safety is a top priority, and also appearing to respond to the president's social media post, saying that he would not be intimidated. Reporting in Manhattan, Gloria Pasmino, back to you.
Chinese leader Xi Jinping is set to arrive in Russia today to meet with President Vladimir Putin. It is Xi's first time in Moscow since Russia's invasion of Ukraine more than a year ago. This three-day trip is expected to be viewed by the West as a show of support for Putin, and Russia says that the two countries plan to utilize this time to discuss the war in Ukraine and strengthen their relations. The U.S. says they are keeping a close eye on the developments to watch for any signs that China may provide military aid to Russia.
On Miami Beach, authorities have imposed a curfew after two deadly shootings. The city of Miami Beach issued a state of emergency over the weekend after excessively large crowds and unruly spring breakers. The 11:59 curfew last night, which lifted at 6 this morning. On Friday, violence broke out in the popular South Beach area amid both St. Patrick's Day festivities and spring break celebrations, leaving one person dead and another injured. Separately, early morning yesterday, one person was fatally shot and another injured. The city manager also intends to impose additional restrictions from March 23rd through March 27th.
A surfer is recovering after being bitten by a shark in Fort Pierce. Last week, surfer Matt Piccarelli was surfing when the shark attack happened. The shark came up to Matt in the water and bit his foot. As a result, he broke his tendon and chipped the bone, requiring over 50 stitches. Matt says that although he is having nightmares after surviving the attack, it is not stopping him from getting back on his board.
I've surfed my entire life. I'm a waterman. I love the ocean. I'm in there every day, so I don't see myself not going back in after this.
Matt is recovering from his wounds at home, where he says he is doing his best to remain positive.
Changes proposed to public transportation in Miami-Dade County. The network's Gabriela Anton has more.
Miami is known for its unique beaches, climate, nightlife, and clubs. However, its Miami residents are known for its horrendous traffic and hour-long drive. At the core of this issue lies public transportation and its local commuters like students. Florida International University student Genesis Ibarra, a commuter student, drives about 2.5 hours per day, 5 times a week from her home in West Broward to the FIU Modesto A. Medique campus.
On the way there, depending on what time I leave, most of the time it's like during rush hour, and it's going to be like an hour and 15 minutes to go, and then usually when I come back, it usually doesn't matter the time, it's about an hour and 15 minutes from as well.
Although there have been no transit rail redesigns, the Transit Alliance of Miami has established the Better Bus Project. According to the Better Bus Concept Survey report, 59% of respondents living in Miami-Dade agreed to prioritize ridership over coverage.
Former Mayor of Miami-Dade County, Alex Penelas, is an advocate for an effective mass transit system in Miami-Dade County.
Expanding highways alone is not going to solve the problem. We've got to expand rail. Now, there's been some progress. Brightline, it has opened a station in Aventura, which I think will be somewhat helpful. There seem to be more concrete plans to link Miami Beach with the mainland. That's positive, although, again, that's been on the drawing board for 30 years.
Miami, a major city that is constantly growing, but one thing remains the same: the highways. With the implementation of the Better Bus Project, this could be a solution to the problem. Reporting from Miami, I'm Gabriela Anton, South Florida Media Network.
West Miami-Dade's Night Owl Cookies now has an equally tempting neighbor. The network's Elizabeth Garcia has details on a weekend sticky bun giveaway at a new shop called Rolled Nation.
As people start lining up for the 10 a.m. grand opening of Rolled, they said they'll be giving away 400 of their original sticky buns.
From the creator of Night Owl is a new store called Rolled. Saturday, March 18th marked the grand opening. The team has been working hard to deliver to an eager fan base. The Night Owl founder has taken a new twist on the classic cinnamon roll. In celebration of the grand opening, beginning at 10 a.m., the crew has decided to give away 400 of their original sticky buns. Not only is Rolled located next to its sister store, Night Owl, it is also paying homage to its roots by including a Night Owl cinnamon roll flavor. Whether it be for a late night cookie or an early morning coffee, the Night Owl team continues to satisfy those cravings.
Rolled Nation will be open from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. and they look forward to seeing you. For the South Florida Media Network, I'm Elizabeth Garcia.
The U.S. and Cuba face off in a World Baseball Classic semifinal thriller.
That's still ahead, and so is this story.
Fortunately, he won't be able to compete in the Miami Open.
One of the biggest names in tennis is set to miss the Miami Open this year. As the tournament's director gives all the details, we'll be back in 2 minutes.
I could really use a new tablet. I just don't have the money.
Let me ask you something. Do you have a Pell Grant?
Yes?
You do know you can get a free tablet, right?
Did you say free?
Yeah, free. It's simple. And the application is done in the store.
I could really use a tablet.
Go get one. Another satisfied customer. Stop by Pantotech in the Graham Center at FIU MMC today to speak with one of our associates to get your free tablet.
Type 2 diabetes can have a big impact on your life. But how can it be prevented? Well, the first step is knowing if you have something called prediabetes. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
And now, SFMN Sports with Kenneth Bueno.
Mixed emotions for Cubans in Miami as Team USA took on the pride of the island's communist government. The United States national baseball team heads to the national championship game for World Baseball Classic after a dominant win over Cuba here in Miami at Lone Depot Park. Controversy surrounding the game, with protests speaking up against the Cuban government. This is the first time since Fidel Castro's reign more than 60 years ago. While some can't separate the politics and the baseball, those that could proudly represented their country even after a devastating loss. The final score was USA 14, Cuba 2. The U.S. will go to play the championship game with the winner of Mexico versus Japan in the semifinals match on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Tennis superstar Novak Djokovic is set to miss next week's Miami Open after being denied into the U.S. after asking for an exemption for taking the COVID-19 vaccination.
We did our best. We tried with everything we could to make it happen, to have Novak here. But as far as I'm concerned, we did everything we could. And you know, for any of the politicians to get involved, I know there are many more important things going on in the world that politicians need to concern themselves with.
The U.S. Open kicks off soon with matches at Hard Rock Stadium. It is nothing but sweet for the University of Miami's men's basketball team after confidently handling the 4-seed Indiana Hoosiers in the second round of the NCAA tournament. Behind Isaiah Wong's 27 points and Jordan Miller's 19, the Hurricanes danced through the Hoosiers and pulled away to secure a spot into the Sweet 16. The final score was Hurricanes 85, Hoosiers 69. UM takes some time off before returning to face the 1-seed Houston Cougars on March 24th. More madness in the second round between two Cinderella teams as the 9-seed Florida Atlantic University Owls took on the 16-seed Fairleigh Dickinson Knights. The Owls soared to a 10-point lead thanks to John L. Davis's 29 points and 12 boards and held on to reach the Sweet 16 for the first time in program history. The FDU Knights became just the second team in the NCAA tournament in history to win as a 16 seed in the first round, but fell quite short. The final score was Owls 78, Knights 70. FAU moves on to play the 4-seed Tennessee Volunteers on March 23rd. The Miami Heat return home with a final win in Michigan, this time against the Detroit Pistons. The game was back and forth as both teams retook the lead from each other every single quarter, and after being down in the third quarter, the Heat were able to scorch the Pistons for the comeback in the final quarter to beat the 16-56 Pistons. The final score was Heat 112, Pistons 100. The Heat will move on to play the New York Knicks here at home on Wednesday at 7:30. I'm Kenneth Bueno with Sports. Sam and I will be right back.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut. The one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink. Or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking. Now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead. Catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Every day,
millions of people are connecting.
And even though we're overcoming obstacles,
watching each other's backs,
and banding together,
we should still make an effort.
To get to know each other.
On a deeper level. Father.
Cosplayer.
Mentor.
Actor.
It's time we take a step forward.
It's time we take a step forward.
Come together.
And discover
how accepting our differences can make us stronger.
That's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Samantha Gutierrez.
And I'm Kenneth Bueno. Get more news anytime at sfmn.fiu.edu.